The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host who always likes to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Yeah, no beeps today. So what do we have? It's options expiration. Starting to look at a few of these stocks starting to slide. We've had Tesla come off the top fairly significantly. Boeing's in a little bit of trouble. I've been waiting for some kind of signal to buy it. Really didn't get anything. It's a little under 325 as we speak, down about $7. That may be expiration related. We'll look on Monday to see if it closes right at 325. I think it's probably a good indication that that was expiration related. When we look at what's going on, of course, going into a 3-day weekend, volume is a little tepid. We didn't have the kind of volume that you probably, or I think we probably should have had yesterday. And volume's kind of light today, about 4.2 billion shares. I'm not going to be surprised if we have a lot of fireworks in the last 30 minutes of the day. A lot of the options market makers have been trying to organize themselves for a close. That doesn't always work out. But I continue to look at probably the Dow, which is just up 21, which was up, 180 this morning. Not going to be surprised if it turns south, or the NASDAQ. Really looks to me like they're pushing the S&P as hard as they can to hold it up. But the rest of the markets look rather weak. Russell's off 3. Probably the big thing is the housing numbers this morning. We'll look at the ITB in a minute, but those are at some pretty much all-time highs. So we'll take a look there. Let's do a little history, and then we'll move on with the day.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And on this day in 1950, 11 men steal more than $2 million and 29 million from today in the Brinks Armored Car Deposit in Boston, Massachusetts. It was almost the perfect crime. The robbery mastermind was Anthony Fats Pino, a career criminal who created a group of 10 other men to stake out the depot for 18 months to figure out when it held the most money. Of course, 1 month or 2 months, I think it was like that, before the statute of limitation. I always call it the statute of limitation. Well, they got ratted out, and they all went to jail. But one of the biggest robberies of all time. And, of course, all from a little area in Boston, which has become the headquarters for bank robbers across the country for some unknown reason. Maybe there's a known reason, but I haven't been told the reason yet. But a little area in where they have the most bank robberies of all. But that was it. Why do always mobsters have nicknames? Not exactly sure. But I know that, like serial killers and everything else, if you go by 3 names, there's a good chance that something bad's going to happen, right? Anytime you hear somebody that's got 3 names, you know they're famous, but not just famous, they're infamous generally. Same kind of rule. But what else can you say? What else do we have going on today? Well, let's go ahead and look at that ITB. Yeah, you're making new highs, but of course, that flood of cash coming into the market is nothing new. What you would like to have is a lot of volume. You do not have it. today. You got 1.5 million shares. As you break through this in the next few days, you'd like to see some more volume. Boeing is down. Little discussion on, I forget which political blog it was, but it looked, or let me put it this way, the top secret story is that a lot of people would like to see Boeing go lower, in the government thinking that it would hurt the economy and the election chances of a certain individual. I've heard this for about a month, but it looks from people that I've been listening to that there is kind of this idea that maybe whether it's ready to fly or not, we're going to make sure that it doesn't. And that kind of rumor kind of spread around earlier today. I didn't write it down or who started it, but it looks to me like there's going to be a lot of roadblocks, and Boeing started to get a little bit weaker. It did nothing but go sideways, which was a fairly good signal. When it goes lower, that's probably a fairly decent signal that you should probably figure out that it's going to go retest the 320.61. You also had a 324.40 low. What you don't have is the kind of volume that would say this is blowing out the lows. You had 15 million shares and 13 million shares. And you know me, if you've been listening to the show for any length of time, 320, 319, on light volume, maybe a couple, 6 million shares, is about half of the previous two lows. Not a bad day out here, so we'll have to see on Tuesday. Whether these are rumors or truth is hard to tell. We have seen people like, what's the guy on HBO, Real Time? He used to be a comedian. Now he's just kind of a guy that, I don't think of his name, but I remember last fall that he was pushing, Bill Maher was pushing that if they could do anything to destroy the economy, it would be well worth it. This may be the cows coming home on those issues. Boeing is attached to just every part of the economy, and certainly if the planes aren't ready to fly, you don't want them to fly. At the same time, you don't want them holding it up a day longer than it needs to be. The truth, maybe it's somewhere in there between. But a lot of discussion about not only that, but driving some of these other big companies into the issues of trade, or not trade, but antitrust before the election to make sure that maybe they can roil the markets too. But I don't know. I'm a little cynical, if not downright hostile to government. That's my bias. But you try to drain the swamp, you got to figure the swamp is going to try to fight back. But who knows? Anyway, we'll look at a lot of other stocks today. I will answer a big and burning question that someone has asked me also when we return.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
I got to get this fixed this weekend. I just haven't had time for anything. So, squeaky wheel gets the grease, or in this case, the soldering iron for this bad cable. I'll spank the cable. It won't be bad anymore. What else do we have going on? Yeah, we got a little push in dust. Of course, 3-day weekend, not uncommon to see a market push up on light volume into a 3-day weekend. I wouldn't say that the volume is light. I would say, though, that I see a lot of stocks that give me pause that have been rolling very hard, as Tesla has. Now, this is not a bad pattern so far, but it has not broken below the 9-day moving average yet. What you would like this to do is go sideways for a handful of days, get back above the 3x3 or 9-day moving average, and then close below. But yeah, you could probably see weakness back down to $400. So possibly a good options play if those options get weak. My guess is that everybody will be piling in right now. They'll go sideways, burn off a lot of that premium, go up and chase out the folks. And the probably the cheap options will be somewhere around 530, 535 in that area. But you want it to go up there and have very light volume. Again, today, 10 million shares, not that much. A few days ago on the update, you had 26 million shares. So no sign yet. I thought maybe we would just have maybe a little, as Tim Ward said yesterday, a little slap in the face today to wake people up going into the 3-day weekend. We might still get that going in to the end of the day. There's a lot of people off sides, and if they could, if they have burned everybody out, but seeing a lot of things that kind of look like blow off tops in the market and a lot of specific stocks. But we'll continue to keep an eye on a lot of that stuff. Oh, the burning question I was going to answer is someone asked me about storing their images and all their family photos on SSD hard drives. And the answer is no. Both thumb drives, and a lot of people found this out the really hard way, when it came to Bitcoin and having Bitcoin wallets on thumb drives. If you don't put those things in a machine and read them about on the very high end SSDs, they can lose everything in a matter of a couple of weeks. The cheaper ones actually last longer. There's a variety of technical reasons why. But don't expect to put everything on an SSD, put it in a safety deposit box, and come back. Depending on which one you have, which model, those SSDs, they need to be charged all the time. If you've got a laptop that just lays around, you come back in a couple of months, it doesn't work, well, there's a good chance that everything that was on those SSDs just faded away. And generally, most of this kind of solid state non-volatile RAM is like that. If you leave a computer plugged in, like a laptop or something, or batteries, the hardware in it will try to maintain those from time to time. But the best thing to do is turn it on, let it boot and run for about 30 minutes. The software, firmware in those drives will go back and rewrite each one of the bits slowly in the background while you have it on. So you haven't had that computer on for a while, you got an SSD, especially all the new laptops. Don't believe that everything's going to be there in a year if you put the thing in a bag, bury it under a tree, and come back. And like I said, I'm wondering how much money, I've heard somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 million in Bitcoin has been lost to thumb drives that people kept their wallets on. So that's it. Bitcoin Cash and other forks, I don't know. Again, I'm not putting my money in anything that doesn't have a nuclear weapon behind it to defend it. It's just wasn't there. Okay, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. The next question comes up is the SMHs. Got a new email here. What are we supposed to do? Well, you can buy a fairly inexpensive hard drive like the USB ones, as long as they're magnetic. The reason why these big things that are 6 terabytes and 8 terabytes are $100, and the ones that go in your PC are 2 or 3 times that price for that size, is that they write and read extremely slowly. So they're not bad, but you certainly you wouldn't use them every day. They're really just for backing up stuff. But they are magnetic, and as long as you keep those things shielded, they should be fine for, well, I think somebody said 25 years. That should be on there. Of course, probably the absolute best way is to save them onto CD-ROMs, DVD-ROMs, or Blu-rays. Optically, those should be good for 20, 25 years, and you don't have to worry about finding anything other than a reader maybe in those 25 years. But best backup is optical, and actually the better one version to that is tape. But most people, tape's kind of, talk about slow, but not a bad thing to think about too, tape backups. The most important stuff goes on a Blu-ray ROM that I have, ROM writer, that is fairly good. And a lot of the other stuff I just have on hard drives. I back stuff up, put the hard drive in a ammo box that is shielded, and it's not only good from a flood, but if the North Koreans decide to try to EMP us, I'll be fine myself too. Anyway, question about the SMHs as we move along here. We've got a fairly nice move. You got to pop up today with no real juice. But again, 3-day weekends. I suspect, though, that what we're probably going to be looking for is 137 in the SMHs. So that's what, about $8. You've got a good pattern here. We had a breakout with volume. Just because you broke out doesn't mean you don't retrace. In fact, more than often, the retrace level, probably 80% chance of those gaps ups are going to get tested. Now, I think it's going to be okay. I don't see a lot of reasons to scare you, but I do think that 137 is where the SMHs could come back and still have no real problem with the market. I'm one of these guys that doesn't mind leaving a little money on the table because I've lost too much waiting to get the absolute best price on a stock. What happens, though, is I am extremely fearful when people are greedy, and very greedy when people are fearful. I do not see a lot of fear in this market, except a handful of people. We'll talk about them when we come back.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates to my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Anyway, we're looking at the semiconductors. See what else we have coming in. The mailbox. Is it time to short Tesla? Well, I just covered that. Like I said, it would be one of those things where you want it to come back below the 3x3, which all it has to do is go sideways next week, go back above it, maybe to like 535, 540, and then close back below the 9-day or 3-day 3x3 displaced moving average. That'd be a good sign. one of the problems out here is, of course, just the miserably high short interest this stock always has. Normally, what I would do because I'm probably not going to short it unless something significantly changes. I think there's lower hanging fruit. One of the things that normally changes on these high shorted stocks is that the short percentage drops in about half. And believe it or not, we're getting kind of close to that. I'd want a little bit more. I may not get it. 35% of the shares were short come midsummer last year, about 35% short interest. We're down to about 19%. We've got a lot of people that short every morning only to cover later in the day, and that kind of ratchets up the market, but the short percentage really hasn't moved. What I would also look for is on the daily basis is that the short percentage drops. Well, one of the problems I had was that half the shares were shorted on the 15th. Half of every order was a short order on that. So it's one of those things where I just don't get the idea of going hog wild. Yeah, maybe a bad tick too. I'm going to have to go back and check that out on the 15th. But you don't want to really go hog wild on the shorts. So just give it a little bit of time. It'll eventually get up there. It may even go sideways for a long time. The shorts will drop out. They'll lose interest, and the short interest will maybe come down to 15% or something. And then you're going to see the big pullback. Even in a bad market, there are enough shorts in Tesla to get nailed. Qualcomm looks like it had a little bit of a push today. It needs about 40 million shares. It never really got there. That's the 40 million share high of May 2nd, 2019. You're getting into a 16 million share high with about that volume, breaking through it today. I thought we saw a little bit of weakness the other day and got out of my long-term position. What it really ended up being was a bear trap for a lot of folks as they piled in short over the last few days on Qualcomm, only to have it absolutely ripped their face off with a nice pop in Qualcomm, 96.17. So I read it a little wrong, but what did I buy it at 82 or something? So it made enough money on it. You're not always going to be right on your calls. But like I said, I'm kind of nervous about this market. I was talking to somebody, what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't remember now. But every time I turn on YouTube, I've got 20 people, fly-by-night guys. They all have the kind of same rap, which is they're either standing in front of a mansion that they probably don't own, a giant 300-foot yacht that they don't own. Maybe they rented it for the day, or a jet that they don't own, and they're filming how you can actually be like them that way. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. One of the easiest ways to spot a phony in the stock market is someone that says it's just easy and you're going to have a lot of cash. But the thing is, it had been kind of targeted at me on YouTube and some of the other ads. That's where And hopefully we're back. We'll get back on the Slack here in a second. Hopefully get everything back up and running. There we are. Okay. Mr. Internet decided to pull my chain today. I don't know if I'm back on the air. Shall see. Yeah, the NSA, the CIA, the NRA. I mean, there's nobody that's not after. Back on.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. What should you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we had a question here from someone about InBev. How many InBev shorts are in InBev? Well, it's got 10 days to cover. You're going to get a huge squeeze on this at some point. I just don't know where it's at. Not uncommon to see the market go down, and these big, heavy shorts have a bear barbecue for people that think it's just going to continue lower. I don't know enough about this particular stock. I'm not a big fan of the cannabis stocks, other than Scott's Miracle Grow, which continues to be the strongest of the bunch. GWPH is the other one, right? The only one that can legally sell it. I'm not a big fan of these stocks in their nebulous legal positions. But you know, you got a nice little move going out here. I'd treat this as a non-expiring call on this, and just buy a few hundred shares. If it continues to do well, just add to it. But eventually, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be up $1, most likely. As long as you don't put too much in it, it's a lottery ticket to the stars. And like I said, not uncommon to see stocks in a down market. That's generally where the people that are smart shorts want to cover these things after they've been blown apart. And you start seeing the smart guys cover these things, and you get the first couple of big moves, and then that's it. But 10 days to cover, man, on a $2 stock, you aren't very intelligent if you're still holding the shares. You should have covered a long time ago. Okay. Okay, just anything could potentially climb back to 137. Okay. What else? Subscription. It's time short Tesla. We got that one. Do you have a favorite metrics you use in tracking the big institutional money, assuming there's no way to get a pulse before it enters and moves the market? The big thing to me is I just see it in the volume every day. If there's big institutional buying every day in the market, I break apart the market volumes fairly significantly each day in the newsletter. Where's it at? It should be, yeah, there it is. And one of the things I look for a big institutional and very little retail buyers is this dark percentage number, because that's where these guys are trading. So if you get nice volume, like I said yesterday, I was looking for a lot more. I didn't think we were going to have a market that could hold up as well as it has already. I think it could sell off into the close. But we had about 7 billion shares yesterday, of which 40% of those were in dark pools. That means that as a retail trader, you neither saw the execution and the volume probably came in the last 10 minutes of the day to be counted. If you get real low, sometimes about 36, pretty good indication that the big men of the street are not very active, but the retail traders are. So I'm not going to say that it's a huge edge, but anytime you get around 41%, generally the volume starts coming and falling off, and it is a pretty good indication that the big men of the street are pushing the stock up, but the retail saps that they're hoping that buying it are getting thinner and thinner. So at about 41%, that generally kind of sets up a fairly short-term high in the markets, but I'm seeing a lot of different other things than that. To go along with this market high, read the Fed wants to lend directly to hedge funds. Note to self, open up a hedge fund. Is 5G rollout ahead of schedule? It's actually a little bit behind schedule because a lot of people wanted to use the Huawei stuff, and we put the kibosh on that. If you think that the U.S. is going to use people other than Qualcomm, Nokia and Ericsson, of course, are both two European companies, and you can really look at those two as the opposition to Huawei. It's a little bit more expensive, and of course, no one wants to pay a dime more than whatever the sweatshops are charging to build stuff in China. Just look at Apple. But that's it. And a question about Apple, is it showing anything other than what we had here? Well, you had the downside yesterday. You popped today, but again, volume is fairly light. We'll see what happens. You got about half of the volume a couple days ago. Again, I think at best next week is a sideways week for the market. At worst, we could have a fairly decent pullback into the 30th of the month. So I'm looking for a little bit of weakness, and it's hard to tell what it has. Okay, what else do we have here? What time is it? Does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care? I like that Chicago song, but I need to get my clock back up and running. Okay, we got 2 more minutes in this segment. What else do we want to talk about? IYT comes in across through the magic of email, and Roger wants to know what we have. Well, you're back up to these highs. You really wanted something that was a good sign of a breakout. I mean, are you higher? Yes. Are you really blowing through these highs? 262,000 shares. Could we just be in a higher trading range? We could. The downside is there's this nice gap at 183 that could get tested fairly quickly. When you look at options for next week's, which I've been looking at today, I thought maybe we get the sell-off before the end of the day. Maybe that still happens. We're up 6 points in the S&P cash. Dow's up 17. I suspect the Dow will go negative today, and it looks to me like it's going to retest the 29,000 area probably Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. My guess is that's going to pull back. Not a huge move, but a little bit. I think a lot of people will freak out. We've had how many days of 1% or less moves in the market? Well, you got to go back to about the 12th of October. We just haven't had the kind of volatility, just a steady move higher. Again, no real burning bush out here that says the top is in, but 3-day weekends, not uncommon to see, as Tim Ord called it yesterday, a slap in the face. I think we got a lot of people napping. So my spidey sense says I should be worried. Fearful when everybody's greedy. Greedy when everybody's fearful.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what do we got going on here for the end of the day? Yeah, got a question about Chesapeake Energy. I mean, these guys are 3/4 into natural gas, and we're awash in it. As I've said before, tongue-in-cheek, we're in a virtual sea of natural gas, and I just don't see that changing. The good thing for a high or low price is a low price. Eventually, these companies will go out of business. Someone else will come along, price of natural gas go back up. But we're going to have to get a lot more demand. They're just flaring this stuff off, which tells you that there's not going to be a lot of exploration or new wells or anything for natural gas. And I think the hangover could last 6 months or a year after the bottom comes in before the exploration companies see even a little bit of daylight. I do not like them here. I'd much rather right now, with the low price of natural gas, be in those that ship it, those shipping companies that take natural gas and ship it around. Because if it's low, people are going to want, if it's the most economical way to heat or make metal or do something or have electricity, that's the way to do it. And there's a lot of those companies that are in that shipping part of the LNG business, I think, will be the first one to do well. When you start seeing those roll over, maybe the price of natural gas is going to move higher. But I just don't see a lot of reasons to be in any kind of exploration for natural gas. There's just too much of it, and it's going to take a while. Following this show, we've got Ted from, what is it? I think Forex, what is it? Forex Trading Unlocked is what it is. He was on my show, I guess, a few times while I was gone. There'll be a chance for me to listen to him today. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here Tuesday. Same bat channel, same bat time.